007. County. Okay. 261,705.60. 007 bridge. 144,905.40. Township motor fuel tax. $1,015. $1,015,015.85.
No, $1,015,085.73.
And 73 cents. Okay. Can't read. I need a motion. Wally?
Second.
Second. Robert? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public comment? Okay.
This we have up as permits. First permit is on County Highway 51. It's getting a fiber optic into H Harbor. They're installing it at the right of way line, 48 inches deep. I recommend that for approval.
Okay. Should we do them all at the same time?
All at the same time, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Next one's for Amarin, in Serena Township on County Highways 2 and County Highway 32. They are just upgrading existing lines. Looks like they're replacing all the overhead lines on the run on County Highway 2 and 32. I recommend that for approval.
Okay.
Next one's on County Highway 18. Big blacktop, starting at 71 and going west. This is for AT&T. And they're installing it at the right of way line underground. I recommend that one for approval. This one's County Highway 25 in Miller Township for ComEd. This one they're adding a service drop. The next permit is for ComEd on County Highway 19 in Meridian Township. And they're upgrading existing poles and lines on County Highway 19. I recommend this for approval. You can get rid of that. Yeah.
Okay, we need a motion on all those permits except for the one out of Rutland on County Highway 51. Motion for approval. Wally, Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is a resolution for engineering agreement with Florida Hawkman for the County Bridge over Pecan Creek. Right now, this bridge is currently posted. It got posted beginning of this year. And as soon as it got posted, we got several phone calls from area farmers complaining about not being able to haul across this bridge anymore because it got posted down to 24 tons. And there's also right now another bridge on County Highway 33 that's also posted the same weight limit. So the farmers in that area are very limited in which directions they can go to haul grain out. So with this right now it's an existing bridge. We're looking at replacing it with a durable barrel box. Right now upstream is a 4-foot diameter pipe. Downstream of it, the next township road is an 8-foot diameter pipe. So a double barrel box is going to be more than adequate for drainage. I think the 8-foot pipe that's downstream is probably undersized. At some point in the future, it's going to have to get replaced to get upsized to meet more of what capacity is necessary to treat the water in that area. Right now, this agreement is only for $16,521.41.
Where's this at?
County Highway 9, which is right north of here. Basically straight up north, you head up to Prairie Center, 52. So this bridge is roughly about 1.25 miles south of County Highway 33.
What, I couldn't hardly hear you. What's the plan to
replace the existing bridge with a double barrel box.
okay.
Okay,
Need a motion?
we need a motion on this
So
resolution. Robert? Elmer? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The next resolution I got here is for engineering services with Hutchinson Engineering for preliminary engineering on North 36th Road, and it's on the Wallace Freedom Township line on 36th Road. They've been out of existing 2 24-inch pipes, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Now, the 1 24-inch pipe is pretty well deteriorated inside, and both township commissioners are worried about that causing failure. project was been in line for several years now. But Freedom wasn't levy enough to be eligible for county bridge aid. And the two townships couldn't afford the projects themselves. So they're waiting for the county bridge aid to do the project. The engineering agreement for the whole project is for $64,500. And the county will be splitting the cost with the two townships.
Okay, need a motion. Elmer and Joe, all in favor? Opposed?
Next resolution I have here is for engineering services with Hutchinson Engineering. It's for improvements on County Highway 15 from County Highway 6 down to the Livingston County line. This engineering agreement helps the county assist us trying to get SSIP funds for the project. With the project, we're looking at doing the same similar project we're doing right now currently on the Fleming Road, north of 80. We're doing widening, resurfacing, some shoulder four slopes flattening. Make it safer for traffic, make it safer for people who are running off the road. And we're trying to secure some HSIP funds to help the cost of the project. And when we get HSIP funds, it'll help us for our use of STR funds. For being able to use less of those funds, we have more of those funds available to do more resurfacing in the county. So we're trying to obtain about $1 million of HSIP funds for widening of this road.
Okay, looking for a motion. Molly, second. Joe?
Yep.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is the 2021 bridge aid petitions. There's a nice sheet I gave to all you with the budgets that cover the breakdown of aid requests. So we got the following townships. Timmy Township is looking at $60,000 to do a deck replacement project there on North 34th Road, right west of East First Road. Right now, the existing current bridge is posted. The deck beams are severely cracked, and that's the reason why the postings on the bridge. Along with this project, what we're doing that, we're going to also encase the piling, so hopefully the structure will last 40 years before it has to get touched and replaced again, to start replacing the deck beams and encasing the piling. Earl, this project was going on from last year. It's been carried over. It's not going to be let this summer. It'll be let in 2022. Right now, Earl had their levy drop, so they weren't eligible for TV funds this year. So with that, the project had to be pushed out for a year for them to get their levy back up. The levy correct rate to be eligible for TPP funding. So that's as a past job carried over. At the Wallace and Freedom one for $65,000. We have Mendota for a double barrel pipe up on East Third Road. They're replacing a 66-inch by 8-foot. LaSalle petitioned for several different projects. Some of the projects are ineligible because of the size of the culvert they're requesting. The other one, LaSalle does not levy enough in either the road and bridge to be eligible for county bridge aid. Richland Township is looking at replacing a pipe culvert on E51 North 14th Road, $40,000. Northville Township is looking at timber pile repair on a bridge with this last $20,000. Every timber pile on that project, that bridge will be repaired. So hopefully we'll get some years out of it before we look at replacement for that structure. Deer Park is looking at replacing a culvert on North 25th 9th Road with a 96-inch equivalent round size for $60,000. So total bridge aid there, we have $415,000.
What's that?
Okay. Motion on that?
Well,
Any question?
well, on bridge aid, I mean, what's the county and the townships?
So it's 50-50.
50/50 on this too?
Yes. And the bridge aid's up 50-50.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
and Elmer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is our budgets. So we pull up all five first. You guys want to go down line by line again?
Is there any major changes?
Well, as far as the revenue side, no. We go down to our budgetary expenses. The one that's has somewhat of a change is IT personnel. After our last meeting, I had a meeting with various department heads, Joyce and John Haig, talking about funding IT additional staff. At the beginning of the meeting, they were requesting the highway department give $14,000 to IT this coming year for additional staff for IT department. I had a very tough time with taking that with service we had last year. I felt we paid in advance for his services. So with heavy negotiations that day, I got Joyce talked down to $4,000 that the highway would pay for IT services this year. We're going to see how it plays out this year again and evaluate how it goes next year and see how number one, see how much services we actually do use down here. He's supposed to start tracking how much time he spends at various departments. Start figuring out which departments should be funding additional staff for IT. Sewer and water is still the same. The capital improvements, I gave you a summary sheet of our capital improvements that I'm forecasted out for 8 years. I was just throwing ballpark out there just to start whirling my head on what needs the highway department's going to have in the next 8 years as far as capital purchases between trucks, pickups, excavators, road graders, and stuff like that. But along with that, my objective with that is the coming year's budgets to have some money budgeted up to the side. If we see a pop spot with good used equipment that we could possibly purchase at a very reduced rate from new price, that'd be to obtain it and get it that way and save county taxpayers funds by getting a piece of good used equipment to replace something. Some of our equipment's getting close to 25 years old or older that we're still using, and get that upgraded to something that's more modern where it's only about 5 years old or less. As far as the rest of the budget, the thing I'm talk about is internet. I'm sure you guys heard is the nursing home's got a grant for $200,000 they have to expend by December 31st. They are looking at trying to get iFiber back down to the nursing home again. So at that point, of course, we'd love to piggyback onto that, but I'm trying to get what will cost for the department to hook up to it and what will be our service cost. Right now, we are currently only paying $300 a month for MediaCom for our internet and phones. So if it's very much more pricier than that, I don't see where the benefit is to go to iFiber if it's not a reasonable rate. So I'm still working on to hear back what the prices for that would be. So right now, currently, there's nothing in the budget for that, for any hookup fees for that, for any increased this basis still of what MediaCom service is. I know Larry was very into it. We have a couple of permits for the iFiber burial. We got the IDNR permit. I believe we also have and then we also have Army Corps. We don't have the IEPA permit for it. So those permits are generally good for 2 years. So the permit was issued in 2019. So as long as we get the work done this year, those permits will still be all valid. So we don't have to reapply for them. Next thing we have that's I want to talk about was our WTH library.
Want me to talk about that?
Yeah,
I got a question. A couple of things here. You see on snow removal, quite an increase.
that's because our price of salt went up.
Salt, is that what that's for? Okay.
Yes, our salt went from like 40
something to 73. Not quite double, but almost double.
Wow. And then the surface, 100,000.
Yeah, the surface is for our parking lot
Oh, okay, that's right, okay.
because there's also a line item in special tax match for the other funds to do the parking lot.
Okay.
So for this Think Library, I thought we had Think GIS on here. but it's a GIS. So this is one of the GIS programs that we use at the office. Mike Buting spent years putting this map together, adding all the roads and bridges and all of our past plans to getting them scanned and uploading them into this library so that we can zoom in and click on a road, open that location, and then we have all the plans that have ever been done for this section of road. And the same thing goes for our bridges and culverts and the township bridges and culverts and so there's a lot of good information in here. We use it for other things too, but these are the ones most compatible, I guess, with this Think library. And so it's WTH. They have another program called this Think Library that they gave us a presentation on a little while back and a proposal for. And how it works is, this is what it would look like. We sent them a sample of Allen Township, and then they went through, because we already have all this developed, we didn't wanna get this Think Library and then have to redo all the work that Mike Buting put into it. And so they came up with a program that'll take what we've done and automatically transfer it to this Think Library, and then also get all the shapes and things that need to go with it automatically converted. So that's included in the proposal. I gave you each a copy of that. And on that second page, that would be the linked document import. We'll be switching all of our information over to this Think Library. And then this is what it would look like. All the PDFs, plans for railroad crossings and roadways and bridges would all be in this Think Library. And then within here, all these documents would be stored in the cloud, and it's an Amazon cloud-based system. You'd be able to download the document locally, send it in an email, change the descriptions that are here, show it on a map. And then this is the PDF that would be pulled up. And then we'd also have editing features to add more documents, remove documents, change things around. And then this is kind of what it looks like. So we sent in Allen Township and I guess a little bit of Brookfield maybe too.
Yeah.
And so then when you go to search in our current Think GIS, we would have this option for this block, and it would pull up all the documents in that area. Right now, we have to know what road we're looking for, what bridge, and where it's located to go and find the plans. So if you don't know, then this would be an easier way to search for things. And then it'll pull up just what's in that area. And then, what's this one here? Oh, this is just showing the trial runs 13 documents, and then that search was only 9. So it pulled up just what was in that box. But their proposal included, converted everything over for $2,000, a little bit of training and setup for $500, and then the biggest expense would be the enterprise subscription, which would be $5,000, and that would be a yearly subscription fee, in addition to the $3,500 we already spend for just our normal Think GIS program. So it's quite a cost. Why we need this software is we would really like to have things backed up in 3 locations. We don't have the existing documents anymore. Once they were scanned, they were shredded. And so we have the PDFs on our server, and then we get a daily backup, which is stored online. But then we don't have that third location that this would cover. So just to have an additional level of security that we're not gonna lose these because we don't have the paper copies. We really do need to do something to make sure we've got these in an additional spot. And then, why we want this software is because my computing put in years of scanning and linking everything. And to recreate that would take an additional years and years of work. And then it's very user-friendly. I think if we got it set up right, more of our employees would use the Think GIS to go find stuff. I would say probably half of us use it very consistently, and the other half find it a little cumbersome. It's not quite as pretty as Esri's, our GIS, but it's very, very helpful once you know what's in there. And we're also working on cleaning it up to make it a little more user-friendly for the few that don't find it. And then also, the last thing was that other county agencies can use this subscription to the Think Library. So I know 911 uses Think GIS. I don't know if there's any other departments that do, but if they had information that they would like stored in this system, then they would be able to get access to it as well.
So with the system that we do have, this would be in addition to,
It would be an addition,
so
yes.
that grand total would be then,
Well, the first year you got the upfront cost, but
Yeah.
from now on, every other year after this, first year would be $8,500 a year.
8,500 a year.
Yeah,
What was it?
for both. So.
That's with Bruce's, yeah, I mean,
So this is separate than the
This
Bruce
is-
Harris. Yeah, we use our GIS as well.
and are we doing a trial with him or something right now? Some sort of a sample, or maybe I misunderstood what he said.
I didn't bring that sheet, I was gonna bring that, because he said that he's doing something for highway
With
right
the
now.
highway.
Huh?
So we have been working with him to set up, I should have brought my phone in. It's like a data collector. So a lot of times the guys will be out and they'll see a culvert that's bad and they'll bring me back a picture. Which is nice, but I don't know the county road names as well as everybody else here yet. And so I get a little lost as to where exactly this location is. And so the app that he's helping us create is they would just take a picture of it and then mark it as a point, and it would automatically get sent to BC, Don and I, and then Ron and Bill. And so we would all know exactly where it's at and have a picture to look at. And that, we've been working with, Colin on that. And then some other things too, but that's the biggest one here lately. Yeah, so we kind of use the
So
two
we have two
systems
systems?
differently. Yeah, we use them differently.
One's for history archive, the other one's really more using for what's currently happening right now.
So we have funds in our budget for that, or that'd be something we'd have to,
Right now for this, I got it budgeted. And it's under the 704001. $24,000 is the total thing for all our software licenses. So it's on the first page. It's about 2/4 of the way down. It says software purchases licenses. Yeah, budgeted for $24,000. So actually, I have it in the budget right now.
okay.
So,
What's everyone think?
so would we still, do we still have a on-site backup of the information here as well?
Yeah.
So we're not just relying on the,
Right, no, we want 3, and so we have our on-site and our current online backup.
I just meant we weren't
Right.
giving up our
No,
onsite, I wouldn't wanna do that.
No. No, this will just be our first level of protection.
I don't have a problem with it.
Any other discussion or make a motion? Elmer? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What did you just approve?
It
It wasn't the budget
purchase.
for
No,
highway?
no.
Oh, okay.
It was just about doing the Think Library.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Change it to last time. Any more questions about 05?
If I could see it. So how soon, I guess, I missed it, will that, we'll be getting that program? What's,
Well, once the budget gets approved,
I mean, I know that, but I mean, what's the timeline?
it's hard to get it implemented.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, most of it will be done in a short period of time for us to get it up and going, but it's not gonna be something, once they get there, it's gonna stop. It's gonna be a continuous process. Because as we do projects, it's one of the things about it is that information also gets uploaded into the system. So it isn't just a one-time upload of information, it's a continuous process of people upload information every year.
We move from past 5 to the next.
Individually, right? Every budget is done individually.
On budget.
Yeah, each one's individually.
Okay. Any motion on this one first? 005, County Highway. Molly?
Second.
Robert? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Yeah, which ones do you want them to sign?
You guys need to scribble your stuff, you not,
Nope, I didn't do any script on myself.
take the stapled ones out. I forgot the feedback.
Good call. Molly, you make the call? No, I didn't. It's good, I know you didn't make it, I'm a little. tastes like tar.
Set that copy down first.
Yeah.
Our next budget was special tax match. The revenue side stayed the same as last time. One thing I did a little, to help clarify some stuff was stuff that's gray in the column, those are carryover projects from this year. And if you add up the values of those, that was, comes up to what I'm calling cash balance use. Those are our carryover projects. So they're not really using cash balances, just because projects were not final build this year, so the bills are still out there, so move forward that way. So the new projects is $100,000 to match the highway funds to do the parking lot out here. 30,000 for the engineering for Peterson Creek. So 10,000 for Hutchinson for County Highway 15. And then I got some money funds for right of way for County Highway 33 Peterson. We have 2 temporary easements we're going to require for that one. And County Highway 9, we're anticipating the same thing again, some temporary easements. And we get down to where it's our striping, which is for our striping contractor that we hire every year to go our paint down, we buy with MFT funds. And then below it is our aggregate shoulders that mentioned our MFT fund program, our GM program. This is our Maintenance Control 1 program. Same thing with our seal coat, skip patch, and cape seal. And those, all those funds are matching MFT funds. So hopefully this year we're gonna have a little larger program for our cape sealing and seal coating.
Do you have any questions on that? Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved. Second.
No second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. You got to church or something, you guys all sat in the back row.
When you get too close to the front of the church, you'll burn.
Yeah, wait a minute, sure.
I know, I'm over that.
They're trying to stay out of camera.
Staying quiet. With our mask.
Yesterday, everybody looked at the camera.
There's a meeting at the big board, and everybody. Thing is set up, looked like nobody was there.
I heard that.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
The conversation we had about that one board agreement, is that in special tax amount? Or-
The 400,000 you're talking about?
It's just
That we just got from the
Yes.
Avangrid?
Yes. But that's gonna just get thrown into tax balance, and we're gonna use that one.
When that project comes up.
Therapy?
Okay.
Joyce had a question about
What a
was,
good place to be.
Nice.
guys. Gets their attention. Grid came through with a check for $400,000 for the Allen Township and Otter Creek Wind Farm. So the highway department has received a $400,000 check. Right now, we put it into our account. In 2 years, we are going through with that widening resurfacing of County Highway 15. That $400,000 is going to be used to match the federal funds that are going to be used on that project. With that, and with hopefully with HSFP funds and also getting TARP funds for the project, we're hoping that the only $400,000 that get put into the project will be that $400,000.
That'd be nice.
It's good, yes, because it's looking at being like a $5 million project. So it'd be $1 million matching the federal funds, and we're hoping to get $600,000 in TARP, $400,000 from this. So at that point, we wouldn't have any local funds in the project, and we'd have a nice resurfacing project going from the county line all the way up to County Highway 6.
Nice.
Kernan.
Road.
Yeah, Kernan, so from Missile, Mayor, all the way to Cameron. On that stretch.
Yeah, where's it at, Megan?
She's got the map out there.
I still go by grade bounds.
You're the, I figured you knew Missile. Don't give me numbers. County Highway 9 up here that you're talking about, that's the old sail barn. Okay, yeah.
There. So,
Here.
Just a little bit of St. Mary's Church.
There you go, now I know where you're at.
there you
Right.
That whole stretch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually a mile south.
go. Mile south,
Yeah.
18, so it's a 9-mile stretch.
Could use it.
So that $400,000 isn't shown in our budget, but then that was also a deposit in last year's budget. This is gonna be cash balance there sitting as force, and it's earmarked by Joyce that it's going to that project, so not gonna be stripped away going somewhere else.
We're setting up a reserve fund to put that in so that it's not part of the operating cash. So we know that's, when he gets ready to do that project, we can put it back in cash balance. We're gonna reserve it.
Again, guys, I went through and the gray blocks are past projects. They're carrying over. We were hoping to get Copley Avenue this year, but we're not looking at getting it completed this year. We might still be to get to a lighting like in November, which will work out, be a great spring we'll start next year with. On here, we also have the 83,000 for Pekin Sagum to match the federal funds going into that project. County Highway 33. I got 405,000 for culvert on County Highway 15. Right now it's posted for legal loads only. We're getting that culvert replaced in advance of our resurfacing project. So once we get done with our resurfacing project, it's definitely ready to receive the heavy loads that highway. County Highway 5. Right now it's a 24-inch culvert that's sagged. There's an existing field tile we think is underneath that culvert that's sucking. So it's causing we were looking at originally lining that culvert, but it's no use putting a liner in it because the liner's not gonna help it from sagging. It's gonna keep sagging because it's losing subsoil support. So we're looking at replacing the culvert and fixing that field tile underneath there. And getting that taken care of. Same year that Sandy Ford's closed, so not really impacting no more people. And then we got the newer projects with the 20,000 for engineering agreement for a culvert on County Highway 18 up on Dayton Road. Right there in the middle of the S curve, just east of PetSmart. And right now we're using Bullet Hoffman probably to do the engineering agreement for that for the culvert. It's for culvert portion only, and the highway department will do the road plans with it, and that's what's saving a lot of engineering costs, otherwise it'd be closer to $60,000. That's the same thing we're doing with County Highway 15 culvert. We're using Will Hoffman to do the actual culvert design because we don't have an SE on staff, so we have an SE stamp plans. So we're using Will Hoffman for that, develop those plans for us, and we'll do the roadway plans ourselves. And then I got $190,000 for a Leland Bridge. Just submitted a major bridge application for that Leland Bridge. It's looking at about $1.5 million to replace that bridge on the north side of Leland. The existing bridge is a precast deck beam bridge, not precast pre-stressed, it's precast. It's a C-channel beams. Right now we are currently patching those C-channel beams on top, and some of the patches are getting over 2 inches deep, and that top of that C-channel is only 5 inches thick. So we're getting to the point where we're starting to get halfway through those beams. At that point, it's time to start looking at replacing that bridge. And that major bridge funding is for 5 years out, so that bridge won't get done to FY26. And the 700,000 still down there for Millington. I know Millington's done, but we have not received the bill yet from the state this year yet. So once we receive the bill, we have to pay the state, and then we send a bill to the Kimball County, and we get reimbursed back from Kimball County for what funds we get from the state. So that's the reason why this costs $700,000 on our budget, and there's a revenue of $700,000. And then we go into our Bridge 8 projects. And after that is this payroll. Any questions?
Any questions, Kelly? Looking for a motion?
I'll make that motion. Aye.
Okay, then we move on to motor fuel tax. With that, first thing we're looking at is the monthly allotments by the state and trying to project what we're going to get next year, which is interesting, trying to figure out going forward. Last year in 2019, we received $2.1 million. Right now, we're looking at projecting this year, we're going to receive about $2.3 million. And we anticipated we were going to get more than that last year. We were looking at last year, looking at 2.6. But right now with COVID, the motor fuel tax revenues has dropped. not as high as it was. But with that also, we're not gonna hurt ourselves for fuel tax because last year we received $1.4 million in the bond sales. I didn't have that $1.4 million in my budget last year, so that was a blessing into that cash reserves that way. This year, I only put one of those two payments, because each payment was $713,000. I only put one in my budget, because I'm not sure if we will get two or not. So I don't want to overinflate my budget by putting two in there, and all of a sudden we don't get two. If I get extra one in the years to come, we can always spend back down our MFT account. If I know for sure I have the money before I spend it. Because it's supposed to be 3 years of payments, and they were supposed to get 1.6 payments of $713,000 over 3 years. That's what I'll set up, but doesn't mean it will, because it depends on future bond sales. So it's not something that's set in stone, so at that point, I'm playing conservative and decided not to put it in the budget. As far as projects, again, I got the grayed out areas, which are carryover projects, which includes Sandy Ford, matching funds for the County 15 car project, and still remaining funds for the County 4 and 15 intersection. I got new projects, this is for County 99 box, for people stocking for $400,000, the County 18 box, everybody, and taking blacktop, that's for $400,000. And then I get down to our maintenance patrol 1, which is purchasing the speeds by the state contract, $40,000, buying our paint, state contract for $150,000, and then our seal coat, along with our special tax mesh together. I got the $262,000 there for that, $617 for Cape Seal, $85,000 for skip patch, and $85,000 for egg shoulders. Then I got $1.2 million of payroll for our maintenance staff, my salary, guess that, and then overtime. Yeah,
I think you got the line for your salary on the wrong line, but it's minor. I mean, it's still in there, it's still calculated.
It's one up, isn't
this is one of them, yeah, you get that.
Okay, did we get to the motion?
I'll make a motion with the noted correction.
Okay,
And I'll second that.
all in favor? Opposed?
Next on the agenda was consideration of Brookfield Township used truck for sale. Brookfield Township has a 2018 International 7400 Tandem. I think it's got 6,500 miles on it only.
Yeah, it's not, not good.
That he's looking for sealed bids on. BC and I are kind of going around trying to figure what would be an appropriate price to put on it. It's equipped with a snowplow and it's got a spreader on the back, but it's a center feed conveyor system on a truck. So you're not really going to use it for anything else. You can use it for hauling debris or anything else. The only thing you're going to use it is for plowing snow. And maybe we did a shoulder thing, we want to put gravel down on the center stream, windrow gravel down, because it would work nice for that. Otherwise, besides that, we really can't use the truck for anything else. We have spots, it also doesn't have a belly plow and doesn't have a winch plow. We do have spots where we can use it, because we do have curb and gutter sections, and all thing we do is spread straight salt on them. And that kind of, the truck would work good for that route. But at that point, I think we're getting it for a price that we feel the truck would value for our highway department. At that point,
We'd have to buy it right,
Exactly.
you know, to make it work feasible.
Justify.
I'm buying it for a price, you know, right now, we're spending 200, that's trucks, we spent 205 for the trucks. I'm thinking about putting a sealed bid in like about $110,000 on this truck. We're guessing right now, he's probably had about 170, 180 to new. Supposedly last time when he did it, so his truck, he got 130 for his truck. So we're not looking at, we're gonna get the truck, we're gonna get the truck for the price I think is appropriate, not for overpay for it.
Right, and I think that's paying top dollar what we, if you offer that, my opinion. Because of the limited use of the truck, not because of the truck, because of, it's only gonna be used. Right.
But we got a route that we can use it on.
Well, no, I understand, but I meant, that's all we can use it on,
Yeah.
basically.
But at that point, we're getting about half the cost of what
If you can get a deal on it, it'd be worth it, but. We'll see.
So that's the reason why we're considering it, and at that point, if I get that, we take place with one of the tandems.
Yeah.
We take place with one of the tandems, we would only get one tandem this year.
Yeah, instead of two, we get one.
Yeah.
Of the 205,000.
Well, instead of order two,
Right over.
we don't get this.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. I'm sorry, yes.
So instead of two.
When it started, it was.
Yeah.
Would there be much use, you were saying the gravel,
No, I understand it started.
would that be along the edge? I mean, what's use out of that truck? If we-
We possibly could go out there and look at when we're graveling shoulders, it'd be a lot more handy, because at that point, you could put a windrow right down.
Just straddle it.
You just straddle your shoulder and drive right down there, and you drop the windrow right down the edge of the shoulder, instead of dropping it down the road and blading it over.
So I mean, could get some year-round use.
Yeah. It possibly help us with that part, yeah.
I think the
That's what I'm
other,
saying, we're looking for our price, so at that point, I'm going,
They don't send it back.
no, it's the same thing.
and also the fact that it's international.
My name is.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
It's all the ones.
Right now, we're going with Kenworth's when we're ordering trucks, not international. We had a problem with international support of trucks when they start breaking down. So that's usually why we're getting away from internationals, we're going with Kenworth's. All right, PC?
I've heard
We had the
that
one
from other
burn up.
people as well.
And international wouldn't stand behind it. Monroe wouldn't stand behind it, so we quit using Monroe and international. That's kind of how that went.
Yeah,
And
this,
that, the dealership moved out of town here, they're back to Joe Head now. There's not one in Iowa.
and we,
What kind of truck is this one again, was it?
International.
international 7400 with a Henderson box. And plows. So you guys,
You think we can go that high? I'm cheap.
I think $100,000 or 110, I don't think we still get it. I think someone.
Yeah, I don't think,
I would say do 100.
yeah, I don't think you're
In
gonna
my
have it.
opinion, I mean, I don't think I go to 110. I mean,
Okay.
it's gonna be what I'd offer. If we get it, we get it. If we don't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go any more.
No, no,
My
I told you
opinion,
one.
that's just my opinion.
It's sealed bid, so.
Because
There might be one.
because of the limited use, I mean, you know, yeah, it lasts longer, but then it becomes an old truck. You know, so where's the payoff at, you know, that's what my concern is. That's the way I looked at it, I mean, I don't know.
And I was hoping Wayne Stacy sells his road grader and his loader and his backhoe.
Cause that was prime equipment.
Because those things have not even $100 on them.
Brookfield,
Yeah.
that's because they had to run them around the block.
They start them and change oil and then turn back off.
So you guys feel comfortable offering $100,000 for this used truck?
If I would do that, I'd go like $100,000, $1.
Yeah.
This is always,
Right, and that's what I was thinking.
or $10, $100,000, $10. I personally bought a tractor from Brookfield on a same deal seal bid for the farm. And the minimum bid was 30,000, so I turned in 30,000. Well, he goes, well, Sauter's already give me that bid, so you gotta go. So I did 30,000, $10, and that's how. So I would assume you're gonna wanna do $1 or $10.
Yeah, I would do $10.
Make a motion.
Okay, we need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion.
Joe? Wally? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is high fiber, which kind of already talks about it. The nursing home is looking at getting high fiber ran down to the nursing home. Right now, we still do not actually have MediaCom in the building. We're still spliced out of our old building. And then this past week, MediaCom sends a bill for $12,000 to hook up. So right now we're trying to reach back out to MediaCom to see what, because we were told when we were doing everything and negotiating with them, we'd have no hookup fee. And then also we got a bill for a hookup fee, and we're like, oh, okay, we're not paying for a hookup fee. And so we're going on that path for that, but also we have to see how much it would cost us to hook up the high fiber and how much the monthly cost for high fiber will be, and evaluate what the cost for MediaCom is. That's that. This is projects. 74 Bridge hasn't started yet. Contractor still in the phase of submittals. So got a few submittals in so far. The majority of the submittals need submitted to us. They're still thinking they're going to remove trees this fall. They might do some other small work yet this fall. But most of the work is going to start in March next year. Wolf Creek, just east of 23, is being closed today. Weaver's going to start on it. His only hold right now with that project would be whether or not he can actually get his beams for the bridge in a timely fashion to get it opened up again this year. If all else fails, we'll have to just keep it closed over the winter, and BC's going to adjust his snow removal plan to accommodate for that closure. County 15, we're still waiting on NICOR. Once NICOR gets their mop lines transferred to their new relocation, the construction will go back at it and finish that project up this year. Like I said, Millington Bridge is open, it's completed. Our County Bridge 8 projects are moving forward, near completion on with all of them. Our seal coat work is 100% complete. Our Cape Seal still has about, say, a week to a week and a half worth of work left to get done yet. As far as our building update, we're not totally done with the building yet. We usually say, feeling's not totally done with the building yet. Seco is coming tonight to rewire a tamper switching wired backwards so we can get the fire alarm certified. With that, hopefully at that point, I can convince Phelan to get the building inspector in here and get the building inspected so we can get full occupancy of the whole building, and they can finish working on the rest of the building. And then we can get our shop guys moved back down here and start getting real down here before winter hits. One problem with that is our one car lift still is not being operable yet because the safety switch is still not hooked up on it yet. We went through in the past week, we got the asbestos removed off the old building by Houlihan, removed it, it was for $8,000. With that, our above ground storage tank is near completion. They got power ran to it. We got fuel in it. Ground tanks come tomorrow to hang the hoses on, test the system out. Hopefully next week he gets it inspected and we get to start using our above ground storage tank. Once that happens, we can then pump down our existing underground storage tanks down and start working the process to abandon them. At that point, we We also then cut power to them, and then we start looking at turning the building down. I know we still have MediaCom coming out of the building, but we're planning to just pull the wire back out of the building, both ends, and drop it on the ground, and start demolition of the building. Yes,
Did, they get those doors, the man doors changed that were,
the man doors have been changed out.
been changed?
And now he's working on painting the man doors. Got one coat on the inside, he's still got to paint the outside of the doors.
Okay, on the tanks,
Yes,
when we get them pumped down, are we gonna cut a hole in them and fill them with sand and gravel?
we have to, once we get them pumped down, we have to go through Elmo Oil, have them petition the OSF to abandon them in place.
Oh,
Doesn't mean we will get to an abandonment place. We're hoping right now that we can.
okay,
We're hoping that if the worst case comes to be, we remove one, leave the other in place. Because the second one, we try removing it, I feel we're gonna have cause serious structural loss to the cold storage building.
cold.
Because the whole backfill for those underground storage tanks were sand, and when we were trying to put the post up on the east wall for the cold storage building, all the sand was keeping in, we were trying to build the holes just for the post. So they dug with a backhoe, stuck a casing down in it for the post. So at that point, all that sand would then come back out of that building, and we were trying to take the underground storage tanks out, so. At that point, hopefully, can some fire marshal police leave one in and take one out, or hopefully, right now, we're hoping we can leave both of them in this will.
So what I've read on how they do it, they have taken where they've filled them with sand, you know, cut a hole in them, so they're more secure, so.
First, we got to do is get them pumped down to, we thought it was on an inch of fuel up to the
Yeah,
tank.
versus the fire department.
Yep. With everything we've talked so far with them ahead of time, they've been favorable to it, and the literature they gave us says if there's jeopardy of something being damaged by the removal of the tank, you can generally leave them in place, especially with a fiberglass tank. So we're hoping we can leave both of them in place.
I'll save a bunch of money.
We'll save a ton of money.
Anything else for the class here?
Are they 1,000 gallons?
12,000.
Size of the school bus.
Well, a couple fun things to end the meeting with. My friends at Hutchinson dropped this off the other day for me. But I thanked them a lot, but I said it's not going on the floor, because I'm not wiping my feet on the Jeep. If it was a Spartan logo like they were able to, I would gladly wipe my feet on it.
Yeah.
So I thank them a lot for that. But since you guys have been very great to work with the first year, I made a plaque for each one of you. There's a picture of the plaque on the wall, and a picture of ribbon for this one, and a piece of the ribbon in it. So each one of these made for each one of you.
Thank you.
I appreciate the year so far.
Thank you.
Very nice, thank you.
So don't drop them on the way out.
Yeah.
I want to see Joe ride home with it.
I don't know if it'll fit my bag. If not, I may have to get it next time.
I was gonna say, I'm sure you'll be back.
Oh.
I don't think that's gonna fit in my bag.
Since Russell, I don't want to really say one.
It's really nice.
Very nice. Norm and Russell have to wait.
Yep.
That's very nice. Okay, anything more for the cause? You need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Nice, well done.
I'm gonna have to leave mine here, I don't think it's gonna fit.
No problem.
Next time I'll make sure I bring my
Hey,
truck.
Lucy, is that?
Month or two, you won't be.
Yeah, next month.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.